Hi guys, Victoria here. Welcome to my channel. I am jumping onto the bandwagon today. I have seen recently a lot of videos where people were explaining what are the 20, 12, 24, 50, whatever the number is, things that they are not buying in 2024 or ever, or things that they don't buy now that they are in their 30s. There are a lot of videos around this kind of thematic, and it is not necessarily something that has to do with minimalism. For me personally, it is more about what I don't want to spend my money on. So it is more about saving and budgeting and being mindful of where my money is going, as well as not getting into consumerism as much, because in today's society, consumerism is a huge problem. It is wasteful. We spend on things over our means just to get items which we think we need or that have some sort of a value or more of a status symbol that you can show off to others, but it's actually not something that you want or need in your life. And so I decided that I'm also going to list my 24 things that I'm not going to buy in 2024. If you have been watching my videos in the past, you know that I am very serious about budgeting and I'm very cautious with where my money goes and what I spend on in general. I have also done a no-buy/low buy year in 2022, which I documented on my channel. If you haven't seen those videos, feel free to check the playlist. I'm going to link it in the description down below. So I was always very mindful about money and also not bringing stuff into my life that causes me anxiety, frustration, that I constantly need to organize, that I don't find a space for. I don't want to become a hoarder. I don't want to have all these things in my life which are maybe one day I will use it, or which are not bringing any value or joy into my life. Things either need to be practical or I need to find some other sort of value in them, either beauty or some sort of value that specifically personally for me is worth it to keep this item. I continuously go through my stuff. I declutter multiple times a year, especially certain areas which tend to get more cluttered than others, like my clothes or my kitchen or my books. I try to keep an organized life, which then has an effect on my mood and my mental health as well, because if I have an organized outside life, then also my inner world feels more calm and organized. One of the reasons why I'm not going to buy any of these things in 2024 is to keep a peace of mind, and also, of course, as I mentioned, to save money on unnecessary purchases. So let's get into the list. The first thing that I'm not buying in 2024 is books. I have a collection of physical books on my shelf, and at least 30 of them I have not yet read. So I'm going to prioritize reading the books that I already have on my bookshelf before I can purchase and acquire new books. I love reading, I love books, I like the look of books on a bookshelf. For some people it can be clutter. For me, it brings value into my life. I like the look of a full bookshelf. However, I cannot read so many books at a time. So I'm gonna focus on the books that I already have. Last year, I received and purchased many books that I still need to go through. And on top of that, I also have Audible, so I listen to audiobooks as well. So I have enough to read in the year of 2024. I don't need to bring more books into my life. On top of that, books can be quite pricey, and if you read a book just one time and then you never read it again, then it just takes up space on your bookshelf. They don't have a high resale value. You definitely lose money if you try to resell a book after you already read it once. So in general, I have like a love-hate relationship with books because I like them, I like the look of them, but they are expensive, and then if I don't want to keep them, I can only donate them, with which I feel like I kind of lost some money if I purchase the book on full price. Although, as you know, I'm not against getting books secondhand, and this is one of the reasons why I very rarely read books which are very contemporary, because I tend to get my books secondhand. So the books that I read are usually a couple years old already, if not like 50 years old. The next thing that I'm not going to buy in 2024 is nail polish. I used to have a lot of different colors of nail polish, and I never go to the nail salon. I always do my own nails, and it has been like that since I can remember. I've been to a nail salon in my life once to get my nails done, but I find it is expensive, and also you just need to find time to schedule yourself. And you need to find the person you trust, service provider that you like to go to. So it's just too much effort for me, and I tend to be fine with just doing my own nails. However, lately I have been struggling with doing my own nails because I just don't have the patience to wait for it to dry. So I used to have a lot of different nail polish colors, and I kind of cut down my collection. Throughout the years I was decluttering my nail polish, but I wasn't buying new colors, new stuff. And then last year, I kind of got back into nail polish, and I wanted to have a few new colors because my collection went down drastically and I didn't really have many options anymore, and the things that I had I didn't necessarily like anymore. So I got a few new colors, quite cheap ones, and this year I decided that it was enough. I'm gonna keep my nails for the most part natural. I think I have very nice natural nails. I didn't clean them though for this shooting, so you might have seen them quite dirty, but anyway, I have strong nails. I definitely don't want to put gel lac or any extension on my nails. I like them natural. I think they are pretty, and if I feel like I want to put some color on it, then I have definitely enough options to choose from. So in 2024, I'm not going to buy any new nail polish. I am also not going to spend money on services like manicure and pedicure, or an esthetician or cosmetician. So any kind of like beauty services, other than going to the hair salon or going to a hairdresser once, maybe maximum twice within the year to get a haircut. But I also don't spend money on getting my hair styled, because quite frankly, I usually don't like that much the way a hairstylist or a hairdresser styles my hair, and two, it doesn't stay like that very long. So it is a lot of money to spend on something that lasts very, very short time. It's not worth it for me. The same with nail salons and cosmeticians. I just don't have the need. I don't feel like doing it. I know that there are a lot of people who find value in these services. For me, it's overpriced, and I don't want to put the effort, the time, and the money into these kind of services. I am also not planning to buy any new skincare products in 2024, except of course replacements of products that I tried and threw barriers in my skincare routine. This applies not only to skincare, but all hygiene items like body lotion and deodorant and shampoo, and also makeup. I am just going to focus on using up what I have and replacing whatever I feel like is necessary in my routine, or things that I actually like to use and want to keep using. So this year is gonna be about elimination, and definitely not trying new things in 2024 anymore. I already know what works, what I like, and what I'm willing to spend my money on. And I'm not willing to spend my money on trying new things which may or may not work for me in 2024. The next thing I'm not buying in 2024 are period products. I already included period products in my no-buy year in 2022, and the reason for that is because I have reusable period products. I purchased a menstrual cup a couple of years ago, and I have been using it since then. It has had a learning curve for sure, but by today in 2024, I have learned to use it well enough or good enough to be able to avoid tampons and sanitary pads, one-time only use products from my life, to eliminate all of these single-use items, single-use periods products from my life. In 2022, I already succeeded with this. I didn't purchase any period products in the whole year. Also in 2023, I didn't purchase any period products. So I expect to continue the same way in 2024 and keep reusing my menstrual cup. And I also have some washable sanitary pads or period pads that I use. If I purchase any period products this year, they are gonna be reusable and for the long term. The next point is underwear, specifically panties. In 2024, I'm not buying any panties. I have a good selection of panties and I feel like I have definitely enough to go between washes. I can go even a couple of weeks without washing any underwear and I could still wear a new pair every day, which obviously I do. And I have a variety of things, some nicer, prettier, and some more comfortable cotton items. I feel like at the moment that I have everything I need. Of course, when they start to wear out, I'm not going to keep wearing them. Whenever my underwear is not fit for wearing anymore, I'm gonna declutter them. But I feel like I can go a year without buying any new panties. And on the same note, I'm also not going to buy any new pairs of socks in 2024 because I definitely have enough to serve me throughout the whole year. I have purchased a new pack of just simple black pairs of socks, like 5 pairs of the same kind of socks last year, and I got 5 different pairs of socks for Christmas, and I already had a vast collection. So same thing as with the underwear, if they get damaged and they are unrepairable, I'm going to declutter them, but I tend to repair socks if there are holes on them until they tear again. When they are really unrepairable, then I do declutter them. But I can go 1 year without buying new ones. This year I'm also not going to buy any new gym shoes, running shoes, sporty shoes that I need for sports, for hiking, or for any other sport really, because I have multiple pairs of shoes and I don't need to buy always the newest stuff. The ones that I have are perfectly fine, and I used to work at sport events, so I received a lot of sport gear, including shoes, throughout those years working at events. So I feel like I already have more than a normal person would have or need. So I'm just going to keep wearing the ones that I have, and when they get damaged and when I feel like, okay, it is time, then I will invest in a new quality pair of sport shoe or running shoe at that time, but it's not gonna happen in 2024. This year I'm also not going to buy any stationery. I have this IKEA candle holder, I guess, I'm not sure, full of pens and highlighters and eddings, permanent markers and scissors and everything that I ever could need for my personal life and also for my business. It is actually more than what I need, and most of these things I received at events, I received as merchandise, I just kept getting them for free. Obviously there are a few things that I bought myself, but I don't intend to buy any new stationery products in 2024. Same with post-its. I have a lot, somehow I accumulated them in my life throughout the years and I still have them. And anything similar to these items, I already have so many, I can definitely live without purchasing a new one throughout the next year. On the same note, I also have a lot of notebooks and journals. I used to be the girl who needs to write things down with her hands, and I still like to write things down, and for my work I definitely take notes by my hand in a notebook, and I use my notebooks for that. And I have enough notebooks to carry me through 2024, but at the same time, for my note-taking in general, for to-do lists, for a calendar, for planning in general, for my habit tracking, for a lot of things that I used to use a notebook up until 2023, I have moved to online solutions, and I'm using now Notion to take my notes and for my habit tracking and for all these different lists that I keep and meal planning and whatever I need to do to have my life organized. I moved everything to Notion, so I don't need a notebook, like a personal notebook with a calendar and with phone numbers and I don't know, whatever people use notebooks for anymore. I don't use that anymore. So I have less need for a notebook than before, and I have enough notebooks accumulated that I don't need to buy any notebooks or journals in 2024. This year, I'm also not going to buy any new batteries. I mean those AA, AAA batteries that a lot of your small electronic devices might work with. A few years back, I invested in some rechargeable AAA and AA batteries, which I keep reusing and recharging, and they work fine. Last year, I got a new pack, so now I have like 6 or 8 AAA ones and 4 AA ones, and they seem to be enough. And also, I just seem to acquire batteries from different locations. I also have a stack of non-rechargeable batteries that I can use, which I just simply accumulated throughout the years, and they are still working, and as long as they work, I'm going to use them, then I'm going to recycle them, and then I will never bring non-rechargeable batteries in my life anymore. And I'm also not going to buy any new technology this year. Last year I got a new laptop, so that was an investment. 2 years ago I had to buy a new phone. It wasn't a new phone, I got a second-hand phone, but the phone is still working perfectly, so I'm just gonna keep using it as long as it works. It's an iPhone XR, so it's an older version. Not planning to replace it until it works perfectly. I have no need for all these electronic equipment like a smartwatch. I just don't see the need in my life for that. Or like an iPad. I do have a tablet, but it's a very old one. It's turning 10 this year or even older by now. And if I ever need it, which is very, very rare, I can just take it out and use it. But honestly, I could live without it. And I'm not planning to make any new tech purchases. And I'm definitely not someone who needs to replace her technology as soon as the new thing comes out. Like some people just keep replacing their iPhones every time a new version comes out, which is super wasteful. Not only you're wasting your money, but you're also wasting a lot of resources, and it's unsustainable. So I'm not doing that. I have never done that, and I definitely will not start doing that in 2024. On a similar note, I'm also going to avoid any impulse purchases in 2024. Impulse purchases for me happens mostly in two categories. One is household items, let's say, for example, kitchen utensils, and in clothing. I do have a running wish list of items that I would like to have for my apartment or for my wardrobe. And anything outside of that is considered in my head as an impulse item. If I find something that I didn't think about before, that I never thought that I would want or need, then I don't need it in my life. If I have thought about buying it before and then I encounter the item and I find it that I like it, it's nice, I will use it, I will get the value that I need out of it, and it's not the first time that I am realizing, oh, this is actually practical, then it's not an impulse purchase. I am allowed to get it. Along with the impulse purchases, I'm also not going to buy any cheap, bad quality items in 2024. And this also applies mostly to household items and clothes, but any other area of my life. In 2024, I'm gonna keep focusing on getting quality items, making educated decisions on investment pieces, taking my time to decide what to buy and where to buy it to get the best price. And I'm not going to get anything just to quickly acquire something and then be resentful of the act of purchasing because I realized that the item is actually such a bad quality that it requires replacement almost right after I started using it. I am also not going to buy an Amazon Prime subscription. I try to avoid Amazon as much as I can, as much as possible, because it is a really unsustainable business model that they are working with, and I don't want to support that. And Amazon Prime is just something that you pay for, and then it makes it even easier for you to just purchase something online, which will be delivered to you super quickly. It encourages you to actually spend more and buy things that you may actually not need in your life. So it's a very consumeristic thing, and I just don't need it. I never used it. I don't support it. The only thing that I find from Amazon Prime being a good thing about Amazon Prime is that you can watch movies and series on it. So whenever I find a movie or a series that I would like to watch and it is on Amazon Prime, then I will just pay for that one movie or series and watch that, rather than, having the whole subscription, including the free delivery and the next day delivery and all that. It is also not so typical in Europe to use these services as in the US, luckily, but it's becoming more and more popular, and I just don't see the need of it. I understand the convenience, but I think there are better ways to get your things and try to be more sustainable about it. I am also not buying any furniture in 2024 unless I move this year, which at the moment it is not foreseen, but there could be circumstances in which I might move from this apartment. I have lived here for almost 4 years now. The apartment is fully furnished. It has everything I need to have a comfortable life, so I definitely don't need to replace anything or get anything new. I have enough space for my stuff. I don't need storage solutions. I don't need any additional piece of furniture, so I'm not buying anything new. I'm also not going to purchase any mass-produced decoration for my apartment. I am very much into vintage and unique second-hand pieces, so I'm going to focus on acquiring unique pieces, potentially second-hand, older things, beautiful things. I would like to curate a nice collection of decor items, of maybe paintings and picture frames and old books for decoration and vases and stuff like this. Things that I find beautiful, but also things that kind of have a certain vibe that I am looking for. And I'm not going to purchase decor in those big franchise furniture stores like IKEA, or here in Austria like XXX Lutz or Möbelix. I would like to have more unique pieces which are closer to my sense of style. In 2024, I'm also not buying any candles. To be quite honest with you, I don't remember the last time I actually bought a candle, and yet still I have a lot of candles at home. I just tend to receive them as gifts, and maybe I have some still left from past purchases from years ago. But actually candles are quite toxic for you, so it's actually not very good to always have a candle lit in your apartment and smelling that odor in. A lot of them are full with chemicals, and depending on the material that the candle is made of, they can be quite bad for your health. So I'm just gonna not purchase any candles in 2024, and I will just use the ones that I already have, and if I run out completely, then that's it. I don't need candles in my life. It's not a necessity for me. And quite frankly, some candles smell so strong that I even cannot handle it, and I don't want to be in the room with that scent. So just give me some natural scents and I will be fine. However, if I receive candles as gifts, of course, I'm going to keep them. In the beginning of January, I decided to not eat any chocolate, sweet snacks, store-bought sweets, refined sugar, any sweet snacks that have sugar in it or that are ultra processed. So in January, I'm absolutely not eating them at all whatsoever. And for the rest of the year, I intend to not buy them. I do have at home a vast selection of various sweet snacks like pudding and frozen macarons, boxes of chocolate, store-bought muffins, packaged muffins, a few different varieties of different types of chocolate. I already do have these things in my home from collecting it last year or even longer than a year. I do get them as gifts, but sometimes I also purchase some of the things, and I would like to just go through them slowly in the next year after January and not purchase them anymore in this year. So I'm not going to buy store-bought sweets with refined sugar or ultra-processed sweet snacks in 2024. Similarly, in January I'm also doing dry January, but this doesn't mean that I'm not going to drink alcohol throughout the whole year. However, I have somehow accumulated a selection of different types of alcoholic beverages, wine, spirits, etc. at home that I would like to focus on going through those rather than buying new things. So I'm not allowing myself to buy any new alcohol until I have alcohol at home that needs to be finished first. That doesn't mean that I am just going to drink all the time, because in general I just would like to lower my alcohol consumption. So if I don't go through the alcohol in my house in the next year, I'm gonna be fine, but I intend not to buy any new ones and not to add things to my collection. I might, however, try a few things, for example, alcohol-free gin, because I do like an occasional gin and tonic, although I have gin still in my stash for sure, so I can finish that first, and then if I feel like that I want to have gin tonic, I will try the non-alcoholic gin. And I'm definitely not going to buy any sodas, whether it be with sugar or sugar-free. I don't care, I just don't drink these. I never really had the urge to drink them so much when I was younger, when I was not so concerned about health and eating healthy and drinking things that are actually nourishing for your body rather than, just bringing in all that sugar, which is going to damage your cells and all that. Even then, I didn't spend my money on these kind of things because they are expensive. So in 2024, I'm definitely not going to start this habit, and I'm gonna stick to drinking water from the tap. I have a water filter that I use to filter out any unwanted particles from my tap water, and I drink that. And I also make tea and coffee from that same water. I don't need sodas, I don't need the extra pop in my life, and I suggest you also try to lower your consumption of these if you do drink them. Another thing that I'm definitely not going to buy in 2024 are one-time only use products like paper cups, paper plates, definitely not plastic cups that you would use for just one event and then one time one person drinks one drink from it and then they throw it out. It is super wasteful, unsustainable, and unnecessary in my life. I can do without it. I know there might be some personal circumstances where you might need to use those, or if you have a big family event or if you have a big birthday party. Of course it is practical and just giving you so much time and headspace to have paper plates instead of having to wash everything of all the people who might be attending that party. I understand that. I'm not planning to host any huge parties this year, so I'm not planning to purchase any of these convenience items. I can wash my own plates, my own cups, and I don't need single-use items in my life. I'm also not going to buy any new kitchen towels this year. I don't mean the paper towels, which, by the way, I also don't buy very often. I usually buy like one pack a year and that lasts me for the whole year. That's enough for my use. I try to use, for the most part, washable, reusable cloths to clean my kitchen and other surfaces and other things that you may be using paper towels for, but that is just wasteful and unnecessary. So I tend to not use kitchen towels, paper towels, but I do have some, so I do buy them. However, I'm also not going to buy the tea towels in 2024 because I have so many that it's just completely unnecessary. I'm just gonna use them, and then if one of them breaks, I still have enough. If two of them breaks, I probably still have enough. So I will just keep using what I have, and if I ever need new ones in a few years' time, I will purchase them. But they last a long time, they are washable, reusable, and we just simply don't need so many. And the last thing that I'm not buying in 2024 is pre-made food in the supermarkets. So these salad packets, pre-packaged falafel, which last year I bought one of those pre-packaged falafel boxes and it was horrible, disgusting. Honestly, I couldn't finish it. And I hate wasting food, but I threw it out. Like frozen, pre-made meals like frozen lasagna and these kind of things. The only exception to this is pizza, frozen pizza, which is the one convenience item that I have at home at almost all the time. For the odd chance when I travel and I come back and then I am arriving late or on a weekend when supermarkets are not open, then I would rather have a frozen pizza from my freezer than ordering more expensive delivery services. I am also not using delivery services as much, but sometimes I do, which is fine, at least considering the amount that I use it. But I really don't want to spend my money on these kind of convenience items where I don't even know what they are made of, and they are not very healthy most of the time, and the packaging is super unsustainable. Usually it's plastic and one-time use. I just don't need this in my life. I am focusing on healthy nutrition. I am making mostly my own meals at home. I know that I am entitled to be able to make my own meals most of the time at home. Not everyone has this luxury and time to do it. I understand that, but for me personally, this is a possibility, so I'm gonna do it. Those were the 24 things that I'm not buying in 2024. Let me know in the comments down below what are the things that you are not buying this year. Maybe we can get some more ideas of what things we can eliminate from our lives, things that are not needed for our survival, things that we don't put any value on, things that we would like to eliminate from our lives because they are bad habits, or things that we tend to spend too much money on and we would like to get out of this habit of spending money on things that are unnecessary. I hope you enjoyed this video and liked the list. Share your thoughts in the comments down below and make sure to subscribe to my channel. I hope to see you at my next videos. Until then, goodbye.